Wapi makofi kwa wale wajaribu kuingia wakashindwa. I'm having the worst day. Not the worst day. What up my people? What up YouTube? What up Twitch? I'm chilling on this side, just chilling on this side. Trying to get a stream done. Trying to grind. Lazima uamke kila asubuhi ujifanye kazi. Where you have to work hard. Niabel mtu alisema jana niliona video ya mtu alisema where you have to work hard, wekelea kazi. But where you need people to get opportunities, where you need external factors or other people to open doors for you, hope that God does it for you. Kwani teach kanga? Oh. Ni easy. Tulia hapa. Unyi. Anyway. Thoughts and prayers to my best friend. His mother's going through a tough time. They're going through a tough time. There's a family. Thoughts and prayers to them. Actually. But anyway, celebrity culture is something that I've never really gotten into. Hadi sasa we go obsessed with somebody to the point that unaweza mpatia maisha yako yote. Really guys? Really? Is that what we're doing? Parasocial relationships, like you don't know these people, but you want to claim that this most of the time these people, the things that they do is for show. And you end up in situations where you get scammed. People get scammed because they're placing the trust in people that they have never met, that they don't know him. Same for politics, but I don't like talking about politics. This is a reaction channel. Talk about education, news, things that are happening, things that I find interesting, and basically anything that I find interesting that I will do. There is no track record. There is no record show that I've said. There is no specific thing that I'm watching. There's no specific thing. The thing that I'm vibing with the moment because of my ADHD is what we're going with. Amen. Anywho, reaction. What I was talking about. Exposing the hidden hell of influencer fame, scams, lies, and manipulation. Because people get scammed. Found in Africa. Let's go. But then South Africa anakanga video dropping every few weeks, but videos zake naangaza on point. Niliona ile fulani ya M-Pesa. Kwa kali.
It starts with a smile, a perfect body,
a
dream vacation, a Range Rover.
Calm down. What?
Monday, the latest iPhone 16 by Tuesday, a fully sponsored trip to Dubai on Wednesday, and by Thursday, back-to-back parties that last all weekend. She tells you just
the parties zinazanga
believe in yourself, you'll make it too. He says, the opportunity changed my life. Buy your ticket now. But what if this was all a performance? What if behind the filters, behind the brands, behind the thousands of likes was a lie?
A lie.
Welcome to the underworld of influencers and celebrities, where the fame is currency, followers are capital, and truth is optional. We are talking fake land, ghost jobs, casino addictions, Ponzi frauds, and rented dreams sold like gospel. This is the true cost of clout. And you watching this right now, you probably followed one. I didn't plan to make this video. I thought
check timeline wewe. Mimi hadi sifikiriangi timeline mingi hivi. What?
I knew how influencer culture worked. Post a selfie, sell a product, make money, repeat. But then I stumbled onto a story. And then another. And another. Suddenly I wasn't watching influencers. I was watching a house of cards falling in slow motion. Friendships breaking, scams unraveling, lives imploding, all in public. It all started with Bahati. The day he dragged his own artist Peter Blessings to court, over 2 million shillings. I remember thinking, why would the gospel
When was it? 2 million? What?
star do all this to his protege? That was the first crack in this image. And once I looked deeper, I could not stop. One case after another began surfacing. From Bahati's
Not gonna lie, I'm so disconnected with it. That's why I watch such videos, because I want to get tapped in. I want to get knowledge. I want to get tapped in and get like a general feel. I don't have to follow these people and everything that they do on a daily basis, but I get a general feel and I get general view. This is why I've never known some Bahati who took someone to court, and who is this person? I do not know. I'm about to find out.
court battles to Abel Mutua's land promotion controversy. What shocked me
mashamba.
just the
Kwanza mashamba inakonga na mambo hii. Unasikia sijui kampuni fulani. Hizi kwanza zinakuja kwa TV hizi. Hakuna zinanga physical office.
It was how normal it had all become. A gospel singer locking out his protege, a TikTok scamming disparate youths with fake job offers, an entire award ceremony vanishing into thin air. Each case was written in its own little tragedy. But together, they reveal something much bigger. A system, a cycle, a culture built not on truth, but on an illusion. So I did what anyone obsessed with this truth will do. I grabbed names, dates, court files, live streams. I built a timeline from 2020 to 2025, and what emerged was terrifying. What? Because the hell of influencer fame is not just about one scam. It's about a system that keeps rewarding them. And what you're...
I thought influencer culture ikongi Kenya ama ilishaanza kushika momentum. Ndio ni mdudu za wazungu. What?
About to see might change how you see every influencer forever. It all started innocently.
Zero. Niambie jamaa wetu wewe. Jamaa wetu umeingia.
By 2020, Kenya's digital revolution was in full swing. Instagram comedians, TikTok dancers,
nafanya anza YouTube channel niite hivyo. Niambie Brandon
YouTube storytellers, anyone with a camera and confidence would go viral. And they did. The numbers exploded. Suddenly, followers weren't just fans, they were currency. Brands started knocking. Events, sponsorship, government gigs. It was not just about talent, it was about traction. But here's the catch. No one was checking how this traction was
GMs, oh Lord.
No one was asking if the followers were real, if the products were real, or even if the influencer's life was real. Because in this system, the only thing that mattered was looking successful. And soon, the faking got out of hand. In the gold rush for fame, Kenya created
at class history. Class history as in
a new class of celebrity, not actors, not athletes, but influencers. And this new class, it had no gatekeepers, no oversight, no accountability, just algorithms and ambition.
Yes.
But the same system that made them rich also made them reckless. And as the cameras kept rolling, the cracks began to show. They call it hustle culture, but in reality, just hope wrapped in a hashtag. Yes. The gospel of influence promised everything: financial freedom, luxury on demand, respect without credentials, riches without a degree, and of course, passive income while you sleep. To a generation...
Sitakudanganya, that is the reason I got into streaming. Passive income, job without degree, what was the other thing? Well, for now, obviously, kwa nikono nataka nikuwe influencer for the rest of my life. That's not sustainable.
Starved of opportunity. This message hit like a drug. Don't wait. Don't work your way up. Monetize your vibe. Monetize your talent. Here's the lie.
When gorilla. Woo! Gorilla. Goliath. Nini.
Don't work your way up. Monetize your vibe. Monetize your talent. Here's the lie. They sold authenticity.
No, seriously. Say wawili wanna date for real.
Way up. Monetize your vibe.
Say wawili wanna date kweli. Cheki. Anawanga 7'9". Na painting size yangu.
Vibe, monetize your talent. What? Here's the lie. They sold authenticity, but most of it was performance. In 2022, Verasi Dika faked a medical crisis just to drop a music video. She admitted she had removed...
Nene, tabia za Kanye hizi.
Moved her famous implants to inspire women to love themselves. Days later, she flaunts the same body in full glam, no surgery, it was all a stunt. A viral manipulation for clicks, clout, and controversy. That's
As they claim, publicity. Nini, siju kuongea leo? All publicity is good publicity.
not just misleading, that's emotional exploitation, and it worked. Hashtag Vera Sidika trended for days.
Yes. Vera Sidika na musician. What? What? Is Vera Sidika a musician? What? Isn't it? This is what I'm talking about. So out of the source, I have no idea what is going on.
This world, every tragedy is a launchpad. Every apology is monetized. Every mental breakdowns become brand opportunities.
Ndio nilikuwa naambia best yangu fulani anataka kwa influencer TikTok inamsumbua akili. Amejaribu kufanya hii TikTok bana inamkataa hadi mimi inanikataa, lakini sasa sisi tutafanya nini? Nilikuwa najaribu kumshow the day I realized everything that they do and they post online is somehow monetizable. So I take everything with a grain of salt, because mtu akijaribu kupost video ya venye ali apologize itapata clicks and views. Hiyo apology bado inampatia money. Mtu akifanya upuzi yoyote ati sijui alipaka gari yake ya pink, alipata gari, unapata mtu ameweza kuvaa amepaka sijui amevaa sijui jacket kibigi hivi. Ama jacket kibigi hivi. It is all for clicks and views. You have to realize that fact. So I like people in my caliber though. I'm just talking to you guys. Tunakapitia bado.
They say it's content, but sometimes it's just a con with good lighting.
Yes.
The dream they sold was simple. If you believe hard
con with good lighting is facts.
enough, you'll be next. But belief without truth is just bait. And what followed was a feeding frenzy.
San Dan Martins. Give it up. Thanks man, thanks. San Martins done. Okay, I'll get on that when I finish.
You know their faces.
San Dan Martins.
Their kids. You've
Martins,
double-tapped their photos.
_2.
But what you didn't see was what happened off camera. Let's start with Bahati, once Kenya's gospel sweetheart. In 2020, Bahati did the unthinkable. He had his 21-year-old protege, Peter Blessing, arrested, dragged to court, charged with fraud. Why? Because Bahati claimed he'd invested 2 million shillings in Blessing's career and wanted it back. The internet turned from mentor to
unapatia mtu investment is supposed to be is risky. If you lose your money, you lose your money. Mbona umempeleka court kwanza?
tyrant. Bahati's image crumbled. And just when dust began to settle, along came Jalango. Charming, successful, a people's MC until the charts leaked. Group messages bragging about women, conquests turned into scoreboards. And the man who claimed to empower Kenyans was treating women like tokens. Jalango apologized, denied sharing women, said it was blown out of proportion. But the
leak. Oh no.
world didn't wait. Views dropped, credibility plummeted, trust dissolved. Then came the whispers of wash, fake gold, money laundering, lavish lifestyles with no clear source, no formal charges, no court dates, just headlines, leaked screenshots, and a rising tide of digital suspicion. But once the illusion of clean wealth cracked, it never fully healed. Because in influencer culture, perception is everything. And once perception turns toxic, even silence screams guilt. Then there's Crazy Kena, Kenya's TikTok king.
Crazy Kena ndio juzi alikuwa stadium aju.
Awesome skits, viral positivity until
Crazy Kena apatiwa makofi zake. Huyu jamaa kwa sababu abisiki. Sijapatana na video yake moja ina bo.
The crew walked out. We were disrespected, treated like extras. 6 years of friendship gone over
Yani hiyo.
ego, power and money. Influencer crew.
Sasa haizi fanya kama RDC World anatemanga na mbogi yake. What? Be right back toka saa ngapi? Hizo zote tani allow sasa niweze kuona nikiekanga sauti ama namna gani my friends. Latency ya Twitch kwa nyuma. What? Naona Brandon alidisappear. But ni sawa, tulikuwa kwa Crazy Kena. Tulikuwa wapi? Kwa hapa. Alimpeleka koti.
Once Kenya's gospel sweetheart. In 2020, Bahati did the unthinkable. He had his 21-year-old protege, Peter Blessing, arrested, dragged to court, charged with fraud. Why? Because Bahati claimed he'd invested 2 million shillings in Blessing's career and wanted it back. The internet turned. From mentor to tyrant, Bahati's image crumbled. And just when dust began to settle, along came Jalango. Charming, successful, a people's MC until the charts leaked. Group messages bragging about women, conquests turned into scoreboards, and the man who claimed to empower Kenyans was treating women like tokens. Jalango apologized, denied sharing women, said it was blown out of proportion, but the world didn't wait. News dropped, credibility plummeted, trust dissolved. Then came the whispers of wash, fake gold, money laundering, lavish lifestyles with no clear source. No formal charges, no court dates, just headlines, leaked screenshots, and a rising tide of digital suspicion. But once the illusion of clean wealth cracked, it never fully healed. Because in influencer culture, perception is everything. And once perception turns toxic, even silence screams guilt. Then there's Crazy Kena, Kenya's TikTok king. Awesome skits, viral positivity, until the crew walked out. We were disrespected, treated like extras. 6 years of friendship, gone, over ego, power, and money. Influencer crews are not families. They're business without contracts, and this one collapsed spectacularly. And then there's Ringtone Apoko, the self-declared chairman of gospel music. A walking contradiction. He has been arrested for assault, charged with land fraud.
Huyu jamaa ndiye anahanga tu hasira. Wewe ushaona na msemo mwenye huyu anakatu hasira huyu. Like huyu anakaa ni msemo mwenye akicrossiana kidogo hivi anaanza vurugu. Anakaa those type of people.
And every time he plays the same card, I'm being persecuted for my blessings. He claims to be worth 50 billion shillings. As fans quickly pointed out, he couldn't substantiate even 50,000. Fame gave them the mic, but it also amplified their flaws. And for every manipulator exposed, there were thousands who believed in them. Which brings us to the other side of fame's mirror, the people who paid the price.
Yes, the fans.
Every influencer scandal lives behind a grave of trust, but what we rarely see are the bodies. Let's rewind to Zainabu Zedi in 2020, the Churchill Show's comic gem. She exposed the toxic culture backstage, months without pay, jokes stolen, mental health.
Churchill alikuwa analipanga comedians? What? Months? Unajua months without pay inamaanisha kama hiyo ndio job unafanya huko mbaya.
Ignored. And just before her interview, a young Kenyan comedian named Kase died. Rumors swirled depression, neglect, exploitation. Zedi's courage built back the laughter and exposed the pain beneath Kenya's biggest comedy stage. But the tragedies weren't just emotional.
Churchill ili fall off. Nafantafuta hiyo video niliona mahali ya Ongori. Ongori anaweza dropping videos kali kama hizo. Churchill ili fall off.
They were financial. Grand Acres, Abel Mutua's favorite investment partner.
Kurugenzi aliskamiwa kaskamo watu.
Land of your dreams sold on YouTube until dozens of fans realized the land did not exist. Abel said he was duped too, and the damage was done.
Watu wanaona shamba hao. Kwanza hakuna business stress ka Kenya kama hii. Hizi especially mwenye anashinda expose nini yake kwa street. People who want land will get land and buy land. Watu wenye wanajua, the actual people that know how to get and buy land, the people that really know how to do real estate, they know their own, wanajua mashimo zao na they can actually get land when they want. Hizi zinakuja kwa TV hizi zote. Hizi. I do not trust these people.
Then there's Lesedi developers, another ghost.
Mbona nikupatie pesa na sijaona title deed? Mnasikia wanasemanga ati mtakujia title deed after 8 months. If you really listen.
Land farm. Hundreds of Kenyans lost money. But guess who had vouched for them? Karangu Muraya, Muigai Wanjoroge, beloved names in gospel, used to sell dirt that never delivered. According to victims interviewed by Nation Media Group, this land buying company, promoted by gospel artists like Karangu Muraya, failed to deliver their title deeds or land possession after full payment. And if the land wasn't fake, the jobs were. She promised jobs in Mauritius, 200,000 shillings deposit. Trust me, she said. Now she's in jail. Her victims still
Kamiti anakula supu ya cabbage.
Unemployed. And if it wasn't lands or jobs, it was dreams. Remember Tyler Mbaya, Bahati from Machachari, perfect YouTube family man, until Georgina exposed the truth. Gambling addiction, saving gone, bills unpaid. He later admitted, I lost control. This was not just one man's fault. It was a warning. Even the influencers are not safe from the systems they promote. Because once fame becomes your oxygen, you'll do anything to breathe. Every scam starts the same way. A promise, a lifestyle, and a persona you can trust. The trick? You're not buying land. You're not investing in crypto. You're buying them. The smile, the vibe, the illusion of certainty. And behind the curtain, a rehearsed playbook. No one checks if that Range Rover is leased or even if that mansion is an Airbnb.
Yeah, apparently everything that they do online. Because hizi zenye unasikianga atile kana naweza kwambia celebrity fulani anakwanga nini. Bana check kama hii gari ilinunuliwa. Sikuna public portraits hizi vitu.
And B. The only thing they see is results, not the receipts. Only 10 plots left. Last chance to make 23.5% returns. Don't get left behind. I'm doing this for my followers. Or the government doesn't care. That's why I created this opportunity. Several influencers used emotional appeals in their promotions, often claiming to have solutions where the system had failed. These were captured in archived Instagram live streams and TikTok videos from 2022 to 2024. This is not marketing. This is manipulation by relatability. When it falls apart, they vanish or cry or shift the blame. Here's the truth.
Wanakuja kurekodi kwa kamera ati siko
most influencers don't vet the products they sell. They vet the check. And if it's big enough, morals become optional. But now, let's look at what happens when the curtain drops. By now, you probably asked yourself, okay, but did anyone actually get punished? Welcome to the worst part of this story. But because when the influencers scam, lie, or ruin lives, their consequences rarely match the damage. Let's rewind to Ringtone Apoco. Multiple arrests, a land fraud charge worth over 50 million shillings, court, no shows, excuses, delay tactics. Did he go to prison? No. Went live, preaching about persecution. Wrote about the People's Choice Award Kenya in 2024. Hundreds of creatives conned. Ticket money vanished. Votes bought. No event, no trophies. Was anyone charged?
Wait. Event ya nini unalipianga ticket tena bado? Si ninyi mmeniita hapa. Mbona mnanilipisha ticket? Kwani industry ni confusing aje?
With fraud, they posted a generic apology and disappeared. And let's not forget Nyako, the controversial TikToker who faked deportation to milk sympathy. She taunted followers who believed her, then admitted, yes, Germany did revoke her permit after dozens of TikTok-related court cases. And yet, she's still posting, still making money, still famous. So, who got justice? Well, sometimes the system responded. Not just in Kenya though. Twitch banned unlicensed gambling streams after Slyker conned fans out of $300,000. Instagram influencer known as Jay Mazzini sentenced to 84 months in prison for overlapping fraud schemes. But here's the problem. For everyone's come a court, haunted by police or convicted, 10 more pick up the playbook. And the fans, they rarely get their money back. They're left in shame, regret, and silence. Because who wants to admit they got played by someone they admired? And for those who are brave enough to admit, no one is there to follow up. What happened?
Kitu yenye watu wanapenda kuoverthink ni wanapenda kuassume ni celebrity culture ni idolization. It's a form of idol worship. To the point yenye mtu anakwambia tu kitu unakimbia nini? Plus anakuuzia the dream. Unaona kimbia tu hapo hivyo.
When the
This is why you need your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
people you trust become the ones who hurt you the most.
Alafu wengine, majua wako serious na hii story yao ya kushika. Ukishipatikana tu kidogo hivi, una breathe in wrong way. Ndako mbele.
We've talked about the victims, we've talked about the manipulators, but what happens when the mask breaks from the inside? Let's talk about the mental collapse. In 2023, the golden couple of Kenyan vlogging fell apart. The breakup was bad. The reason was Baha, child star
The families, YouTube
and
families.
online dad, was secretly betting away his savings, the house, the baby's food, his dignity. The same guy who joked about betting was drowning in it, and he wasn't alone. In March 2024, Simple Boy fainted mid-show. The diagnosis, not a heart problem, a stress problem. He later admitted, I'm so stressed,
job ikamshinda.
I fell on stage. People are making
Simple boy nini? Hizi ni gani?
me turn on myself. Between label battles, romantic scandal, and the pressure to entertain, he cracked. Because no matter how much money they flash, how many likes they get, influencers are human. And this industry kills humans alive. She got a seat at the table, and the whole country turned on her. Was it earned? Was it fair? Does it matter? Because once public decides you are privileged, they'll drag you for breathing. Eddie Butita tried to stay neutral during the 2024 financial bill crisis. Big mistake. People wanted fire. He gave them balance and they cancelled him. That's the real hidden hell of influencer fame. You're not allowed to be tired, to be unsure, to be human. Because you're not just a person anymore. You're a brand, a product. And if the product
brand like you
breaks, what do you think happens? But sometimes it's not scandal that breaks them. The pressure to pretend everything is perfect when it is not. Take Aziad Nasenya, Polish TikTok icon, government committee appointee, global vlogger. But in early 2025, her work cracked. Bloggers accused her of funding her luxury lives not through brand deals but through unpaid loans. Friends claimed she
ile story fulani asijui alikuwa na loans ya vitu ngapi ndio maana sasa comment section yako yote loan alilipa
borrows money for 3 days and disappears. One said she owes 400,000, another alleged sexual favors for debt relief. BNN Premium alleged she took a 25 million Kenya shilling circle loan to keep up appearances, living large on leverage.
Ni nini hizi? 25 million loan to purchase an apartment in Kilimani. After only 3 months, she stopped making payments and ghosted them. Nini? Sisi nini? Ya uongo. Acha nikaitu mirema tu kwetu.
Then,
alizo si hadi huku kuna wasanii. 25 million loan.
Silence. 10 days offline, she resurfaced in Germany with a gym reel, I Feel the Love. Later in a partial interview, she denied begging and blamed them as edited clips. But when asked about specific loans, she dodged, and the public noticed. Aziad's spiral is not unique. Industry insiders admit most influencers borrow their lifestyles before they earn it. The result? Followers become unwitting lenders, and influencers live one screenshot away from implosion. In the age of digital fame, it's not just truth that is faked, it's stability.
Which is why nikiwahi kuomba loan ati nikwambie ninafanya nayo usanii unless uinvest na ninunue gear nayo. Acceptable? Gear is not cheap.
For many years, fans trusted influencers blindly. They clicked, they bought,
Idolization. Banatafuta kazi.
they followed. But by 2023, the spell broke. Let's start with Lesedi developers. They used gospel stars to sell fake plots. Homes never built, titles never issued. The public exploded, hundreds protested, and Karungu, a apologized on a video shaking. Then came the Oppo payment scandal. Dozens of influencers said that they were never paid. Within days, Oppo responded publicly.
Ile Oppo, ile story ya Oppo nilipata na video ya nani? Ya itonga juu. Kai. Flaco.
Influencers said that they were never paid. Within days, Oppo responded publicly, aggressively. They exposed the agency Affluence for withholding the money. And Oppo offered legal help to influencers, even sued the agency themselves. That kind of transparency, rare, powerful, and necessary. Because the fans were watching. The age of blind trust is over. Now, fans want receipts, screenshots, contracts, transparency. The rebellion is digital, it's public, and it's gaining momentum. Influencers who once weaponized fame are now facing a weaponized audience, and they are terrified. Certain content creators have managed to subtly navigate around etiquette enforcers. Crazy Kena, Eric Omondi, Vinny Baite, all linked to major betting firms, Betika, Pakakumi, SportPesa. Their skits and slogans frame betting as fun, as harmless, and as profitable. But what they don't
I am not sponsored. However, easy betting company
show is the debt, the broken homes, the real odds. Even more shocking, Bahati and Diana Marua, the gospel-turned reality couple, reportedly launched their own betting company, not just endorsing the vice, but owning the house. And who are the targets? The youth, the broke, the disparate. They sell gambling as hope, as hustle, as just one spin away. But behind every success story are thousands of silent losses. And so, the cycle repeats. One influencer confesses, another promotes. One cracks, another climbs. And all the while, the audience is left wondering who's real and who's next.
Nobody is. You just have to realize that nobody is. Especially talk flex.
Here's the real question that haunts the entire story. Why does this keep happening? We've seen the scams, the lies, the breakdown, the backlash, and yet it keeps happening. Because at the key of it all is a need, a hunger. Fame promises validation. Followers offer belonging. Wealth signals safety. In a society where traditional paths are crumbling, influencers feel like they're the shortcut to everything. Why wait?
Because realistically, that is the only way you're left with it. There's no way ndasoma nimechukua help, nimesoma hivi vyote alafu mniambia nahitaji experience ya 4 years kuingia starter job. Ndio niko hapa juu nataka experience bana. Jamani, usinipatie hadi kazi hata kama nini. Alafu maisha imekuwa expensive. Alafu una mjamaa mwingine ako hapa hivyo na akona Lamborghini Urus. Alafu uniambia utaingia kikazi. Why do you think I'm here?
10 years to climb a ladder when you can go viral in 10 seconds. But here's the catch. Fame without foundation is a house of mirrors, and mirrors can't hold weight. We build that rewards appearance.
Pole tu. Just grind it out. Anyway, missing experiences. I'm not yet tested, so no wonder all the time I spend in building a foundation.
Over substance, clicks over character, followers over facts, and then we are shocked when it all collapses. Influencers did not invent this game, they're just its most visible players. The system was designed this way because if you stop believing the illusion, the whole economy trembles. We are all complicit. Every like, every share, every blind repost, we reward the loudest and not the truest. And until that changes, this story has no end.
Yes, we reward the loudest and not the truest. That is the facts, stupid.
Documentary doesn't end with a plot twist. There's no final villain reveal. No I got you moment. Because the true antagonist is the system itself, the one we all participate in. Influencer culture is not dying, it's evolving, faster, sleeker, more addictive. But what you can change is you. A new kind of literacy is emerging. Not the ability to read words, but to read intentions. Question the perfect narrative, verify the credentials, Google before you act. Ask, is this real or just really well lit? And remember, they are not your friend. They don't know your name, but they know how to sell to you.
Yes. They don't know you. They don't know your name. They do not care about you. They only see you as a number, especially numbers. So to the point of I want to think about these people as not just numbers, but actual people. Ukinipatia 4 likes, that is 4 people wananiambia W video. Get my point? If you get 100, that's 100,000. You need football stadium mzima.
Because real influence is not about wealth or envy or aesthetics. It's about the impact you
msangamano wa magari inaenda wapi?
Leave when the camera turns off. The most powerful action is not to follow blindly, it's to follow consciously, to stop idolizing and start analyzing, to stop consuming illusions and start confronting reality. You watching this right now, ask yourself one simple question. Is my life actually better because this person is in it? The answer might change everything. If you found this eye-opening, smash that like button and share it. The more people who recognize these tactics, the less power influencers have. Hit subscribe for more digital truth bombs and leave a comment with your own influencer scam experience, or better yet, how you spotted one and avoided it.
Double video. Ooh, what? Achio kwanza zake. Bang. Back to my point. What I was saying was but then one video nikali pia mnafahamu muiona. What was I saying? It's a form of idealization because you treat these people like they are God, that they are above you. And that time wanakuzia ni marketing. It's all marketing. Selling the illusion. Kuseti up camera. Difference kubwa inakuja zenye either light iko on ama light iko off. Unapata? Smoke and mirrors. Don't idolize. Get benefited. Especially me, most of the time. I'm not saying I'm a victim to this. Not a victim. No, okay, not a victim. Like my priorities are different. You get most of the subscriptions or whatever what most people I follow or I subscribe to because I enjoy. They're entertaining, but I learn from them. I have Mr. Who's the Boss who talks about tech. I follow him because he talks about tech. Same as Marquez, right? I am subscribed to. I'm subscribed to who? I'm subscribed to the Sidemen because they're entertaining and they do charity work. But I'm not subscribed to Mr. Beast. See the difference? Smoke and mirrors. Should adopt venye amesema hapo mwisho. You should adopt a mindset of am I benefiting in any way because this person is in my life. If not, just because you're saying sometimes unapatanga ni tuko sijui ni katulia hatukuachanga class 7 class 5 ndio upate story ya kuweza kurelate nayo. Unaona kuna hii celebrity culture inakuja because people want to relate to other people. Unapata watu wanaongelea story ya mtu fulani because it's trending. Unataka hadi wewe uko hapo useme niliona. And the day I realize it's not sustainable, it's not fun, it's not even si ati ni vile na enjoy. Nataka tu niko hapo juu because ime pop off ni juu. Ndio siku ni realize I'm just wasting time here. Catch my drift? Anyway, next video. Exposing the hidden health of fame, scam, lies, manipulation found in Africa. Go subscribe to that video. Amazing. Next, nilikuwa nataka nione gani? Ponzi scheme because it's related to the other video, but this one is from stories from Kenya. Stories from Kenya. With a video says why no one can save Kenyans from the Ponzi schemes. Sijaona hii video bado, but I think one reason is the poverty. Ukinipatia option ya kumove out kutoka kwa mzazi jamani, juu nimeshinda jua kali kutoka asubuhi. I will take it. It's not necessarily my fault. It's because the system is set up in such a way that it puts a lot of people down, and those people are desperate.
Reportedly made losses amounting to... Move on to the next story. Kenyans have yet again reportedly made losses amounting to millions of shillings by falling prey to an online Ponzi-like...
Wash. Hingine ilikuwa inaitwangaje? Sasa mahali coin ni scam lakini jubeste yangu ataniua.
Scheme disguised as...
My brother from Mombasa ataniua lakini ni sawa.
as an e-commerce and
Another day, another scam for the umpteenth time now. Residents of Eldoret in the county of Uasin Gishu and its environs.
That headline. President Ruto awarded honorary degree by Baraton University. For what?
The umpteenth time now, residents of Eldoret in the county of Uasin Gishu and its environs have been duped after investing their money in
especially hizi za mashinani hizi. Wanaambiwa ati tunawapeleka sijui wapi. Jamani.
dubious companies.
Aided church leaders.
Picture this. You've scraped together your last 10,000 shillings and funneled it into a new crypto platform that you heard from your friend that's called Bitstream, promising a mouth-watering 5 to 10% every single day. Then before your very first withdrawal, the money is gone. And when you check the Telegram group for answers, you find one final message from the scammer. I still drive my Ferrari and some of you can't afford to eat. That was the message sent to Kenyans by the Telegram admin after defrauding them of over 1 billion shillings.
Jamaa alikuwa na 1 billion ya Kenya. Nani huyu?
Jimmy from
Bora sikusikia story. What?
X was one of the 10,000 victims, and his case wasn't unique. It was just one among hundreds of Ponzi schemes running in Kenya today, scamming thousands in real time. In many cases, the people who might be defrauding you aren't always hiding behind the fake profiles on Telegram. Sometimes they're standing right beside you, singing hymns on Sunday, or they're even your own family members.
Mimi hasa pamoja na my relatives, my immediate family.
Huyu aliuza samba. Sasa amefunika sura ya nini na kuna huyu mtarelate?
My wife, my other relatives tumepoteza over 3 million.
Akanipea pesa yake. Mtoto wangu akanipea pesa yake, nikaongeza pamoja ikakuwa 3 milioni. Nikaleta kwa
wako na 3 milioni. Kenya uko na pesa. Nikisema sina pesa niko peke yangu.
biashara ya Ambrose. Ambrose amepotea na pesa ya wenyewe.
More recently, on April 14th, 2025, CBEX, a fake AI-powered platform promising to double investors' money in just 30 days, sent
mnasikia tu AI unaruka tu ndani.
shockwaves when it collapsed
Tumecha GPT vile unafaa.
overnight. Users across Kenya and Nigeria woke up to frozen accounts with empty balances and a vague corporate statement blaming a cyber attack, technical irregularities, and yes, even Donald Trump's tariffs, which basically
It's all the bullshit that you see on news.
translates to, we've taken your money, good luck getting it back. According to reports, CBEX vanished with a staggering 800 million US dollars. If accurate, that's over 112 billion shillings. On TikTok, the aftermath played out in real time. Victims posted tearful videos, some having lost everything. The shocking part, right underneath those very videos, in the comment section, new Ponzi schemes were already being advertised, and Kenyans were asking how to join them. Even worse, despite the billions...
What? Comment section ya hiyo video tu.
Stolen and countless of lives devastated, perpetrators rarely face justice in Kenya. In this episode, we'll look at exactly how these scams work, and most importantly, then it's almost impossible to save Kenyans from the endless cycle of Ponzi schemes.
Oh, I'm doing the Lord's work.
Be sure to like the video if you enjoy it and subscribe to the channel for more eye-opening stories from Kenya.
Nice.
A Ponzi scheme is a deceptive investment scam that promises unusually high returns with little to no risk, but behind the pitch, there's no real investment happening.
Something that promises you high returns, low risk, quick time. is always a scam. Those are my 3 rules. Tangu nifanywe ile kitu wala sitaki mchezo. Quick time, high returns, low risk. Criteria, I don't want it.
Instead of generating profits from actual economic activity, the scheme pays early investors using money from new ones. This creates an illusion of a profitable and well-run business, when in reality it's just a money shuffle designed to buy time and lure more victims. The scheme is named after Charles Ponzi, who in 1920 promised investors 50% returns in just 45 days, claiming to profit from an arbitrage in international postal coupons. He ultimately defrauded more than 40,000 people, amassing over $15 million.
15 million in 1920.
The sheer scale of the operation and the media frenzy it triggered made his name permanently synonymous with this style of fraud, even though the scheme itself had existed long before he came along. When CBEX promised returns of 100% per month, they were essentially claiming that they could double your money in 30 days. If someone invested 10,000 shillings and kept reinvesting the principal and the profits every single month, they'd end the year with over 40 million shillings.
40 million kutoka kwa 10k. Sasa ufanye tu mathi yako tu akicho ujue hii kitu ni upuzi.
That's not just unrealistic, it's mathematically impossible for any legitimate business, let alone an investment vehicle.
Unless you're insurance betting, and what is the other profitable business that I know of that just poofs money out of nowhere? And banking.
What makes these scams especially dangerous in Kenya is how easily they can spread. Thanks to how active Kenyans are on social media and our advanced mobile money ecosystem. With over 32 million M-Pesa users, it's incredibly simple for fraudsters to collect small amounts from thousands of people. Safaricom lack legal power to investigate or recover funds beyond technical support, even in accidental transfers. So when someone willingly sends money to a scammer, it's usually gone for good.
Especially hizi za nini za nimekutumia hapo 100,000, nimekutumia hapo 1,800, nimekutumia hapo 800, nani ya mama yangu tafadhali. Nini?
Now, let's break down the exact tactics used. How scammers hook you, manipulate you, and disappear without any consequence. Modern Ponzi operations no longer need to shout, "Get rich quick." They just whisper, "Cutting-edge innovation." CBEX exemplified this approach perfectly.
AI-powered algorithms, bots. What is the other word? AI-powered.
Their supposedly AI-powered platform promised to use advanced machine learning algorithms to deliver guaranteed returns regardless of market conditions. At first glance, such buzzwords convey expertise. In reality, they obscure the lack of any real trading engine. Psychologists call this illusion of explanatory depth, a cognitive bias where individuals believe they understand a concept more deeply than they actually do.
Explanatory bias. Explanatory what now? Explanatory, the illusion of explanatory depth. Sometimes I have this. Like the fact that especially kwa science yenye una struggle nayo ama chem nini tuka hizo. Kujanga unadhani umeelewa kitu but ukienda kuelezea mtu mwingine anakuangalia in the form of the measure of how well you know a concept is how easily you can explain it to a person how easily can explain it to a person in any way, shape or form.
Still, these schemes thrive in Kenya's regulatory grey area. Jurisdictional overlaps between the Capital Markets Authority, the Central Bank of Kenya, and the Directorate of Criminal Investigations mean that accountability often vanishes in bureaucratic red tape.
My hope is that government agents.
Kwanza bureaucracy ya Kenya inaanga tu upuzi. Unaenda kwa ofisi fulani nakwambia si ofisi yangu. Kwenda tu ID, unaambia unaenda kwa chief anakuambia urudi kwa DO. Unashindwa why are we doing lap arounds?
Like the DCI will come in and intervene along with hundreds of others, hundreds of millions, if not more than $1 billion has been lost here, and the man behind it is nowhere to be found.
As a result, victims are often sent in cycles, with each agency disclaiming responsibility. Modern Ponzi schemes don't just sell you lies, they sell you hope. And when jobs are scarce and the whole system feels rigged against the ordinary mwananchi, gambling on these schemes start to make sense. To many desperate Kenyans, taking such gambles feels like the only way out. When you're gasping for air in deep water, you don't question whether the life preserver thrown your way might be real or fake. In many cases, you simply trusted your friend. He showed you real withdrawals, real M-Pesa messages. So you tried it, making sure you just use a small amount. Then to your surprise, you got your first M-Pesa payment. A small payment, but in that moment, everything changed. Suddenly, you're in. And before long, many go from skeptic to believer, investing almost all they can and even recruiting others, thinking they've finally found an opportunity to escape the matrix. Oblivious of the fact that they're in a Ponzi scheme which will eventually collapse. But here's the final twist. When they finally come to terms with the fact that they've been conned, the most insidious weapon in a Ponzi operator's arsenal isn't technology or false promises. It's the shame that silences the victims after the scheme collapses, creating the perfect shield against any form of consequences.
Pamoja na my relatives, my immediate family, my wife, my other relatives, tumepoteza over 3 million.
When Ponzi schemes collapse, the predators don't run. They pivot. Instead of vanishing, the smartest ones switch into predatory mode again, targeting victims while they are emotionally raw, using what's known as a recovery scam. CBEX is a perfect example. After crashing hard, instead of ghosting or insulting users like some Ferrari-driving admins, they dangled one last chance to recover lost funds if you paid a verification fee. If your account had $1,000 or less, deposit $100 to verify. More than that, deposit $200.
This is predatory. This is this is among the most evil human beings in the world. What? Nini?
When people are desperate to recover losses, all logic fades away. Hope hardens into stubbornness, and scammers exploit this vulnerability. Psychologists call this the sunk cost fallacy, a cognitive trap where we cling to decisions because of what we've already invested, even when logic screams that continuing is futile. It's why someone might pour more money into a failing business, stay in a toxic relationship for years, or chase a bad investment deep into the red. Even when the rational move is to cut your losses, you can't. Emotionally, it feels like abandoning your money. And in that space, that moment of weakness, they strike again. The shame of losing money to scammers, then giving them more money to scam you again, is so embarrassing, victims can't create awareness by speaking up.
Mimi nimepoteza karibu 7.
Zote watu wamefichwa sura.
million in total.
This man and
Karibu 7 million in total.
This man, an influential figure in Eldoret town, who asked for anonymity, says he is both afraid and ashamed to face his family in the wake of the 7 million shillings loss he suffered.
Eldoret mko na pesa, 3 million, 7 million, ndo nasikia zimepotea hapo. What?
When Ambrose disappeared with the money he had sourced from his own savings, his family's and his friends.
But perhaps the most devastating variant of Ponzi schemes in Kenya preys on religious communities and spiritual trust. In Eldoret, Springmark investment was orchestrated by Ambrose Makech Abuti. By August 2024, Ambrose had collected 2.4 billion from over 300 congregants, all lured by an 18% monthly return. As a respected church member, Ambrose gained access to congregations through endorsements from the church leaders themselves, who were either deceived.
Tuko na kijana wetu huku anafanyanga IT AI hapo. Sasa mzee wa kanisa ajui hizi. Yeye anajua tu Bible top to bottom back to front. Tuko na kijana anafanyanga mambo ya AI ndio tunakula sasa. Ukipatia pesa yako, tunaleta kwa kanisa yenu. Nini? Hivyo ndio watu wanaskamiwa. Mnatoa hadi pesa ya offering na nini, mtu anakosa kutoa sadaka, anatoa nini, wanapatiana Abroth naye anatoka anataka 2.4 billion.
All complicit.
Makech's scheme revealed that they were enticed by the lucrative deals promoted in local churches. Makech had visited several churches using trusted religious leaders to convince the congregations to invest in his company.
Alikuja kwa makanisa, akakuja kwa mabishop, akawaambia mabishop, nisaidieni washirika wenu wakuja invest kwa hii kampuni.
Mabishop pia waliachiwa chai, si ati unakuja kanisa bure. The more you know.
Muni na watapata 18%. Sasa alitumia kanisa ili kupata pesa.
18% of 100k ni 18,000 per month. Samzuri. What?
More than 100 victims filed police reports, yet not a single arrest followed. According to victim testimonies, officers shielded Ambrose from his own congregants. Then he simply vanished, leaving families ruined and their faith shaken.
The affected people are still questioning how and why Ambrose hasn't been arrested following their revelations. Police in Eldoret, who spoke to us on condition of anonymity, say they are equally frustrated by their colleagues from the DCI, with the accused to evade justice. They say DCI officers who have stayed at the police station for long are conspiring to defeat the search for justice.
Not long afterwards, Apostle Seko Silas of Rotham Center Church introduced De La Vie Consult as a divine forex mission, promising an outstanding 30% monthly yield. From the pulpit, Silas insisted that to doubt the returns was to doubt God himself. Entire families sold land or took out bad loans on his word alone, only to watch their savings evaporate.
Sasa imagine uchukue 4 million ujamaa ende nayo 4 million unaanza kulipa aje?
Ebi Atema says she is in big trouble after urging her mother to give her a title deed in order to secure a loan which she invested at De La Vie Consult.
Hatutaamini mtu fulani eti ni mtumishi wa Mungu, sababu huyo ndio tunatarajia angetupea mwelekeo, lakini anatuingiza kwa giza.
Mnapotezwa na shepherd wenu.
Kuna mwangaza anatupatia, ni kutuingiza kwa giza.
Ni uchungu mkali sana ikiwa tutakuwa
vitu mingi hizi zinafanyikana mashinani
na wenzetu wenye wanatumia njia za ukora kuipia Wakenya wenzao. To Citizen TV say they have reported the incidents to the police, but very little is being done to apprehend the perpetrator.
Like Springmark's victims, they lodged police complaints, but again, no arrests were ever made, and Silas too disappeared without explanation. Data shows that for every reported Ponzi scheme, a lot more go unreported. When victims stay quiet, Out of shame, scammers reuse the same playbook over and over again, targeting the next wave of hopeful who will also be conned into silence.
Especially Macomrade bana tunaumia. What?
Continuing the unending cycle of Ponzi schemes in Kenya.
That is Kenya, drug money laundering and tax evasion. What? Easy. By who? What? I don't need video. You shut. Information purposes.
Imagine a bank where
Wait. Connect the research and not rely solely on the information that are about to inaccuracies or damages arising for its use. All that party plus conviction and also by the operator. 1976, McCoffee.
Imagine a bank where you could open an account under a fake name, no ID, no transaction limits. For criminals, tax evaders, and anyone seeking to hide their wealth, this wasn't a fantasy. It was reality at Charterhouse Bank. Through its
I've been waiting for this.
shadowy operations, billions flowed through hidden accounts, enabling some of the largest corporations like Nakumatt and Tuskys to dodge taxes. Whispers of drug money laundering tied to powerful figures like John Aaron Mwao added a darker edge to the scandal. By the time the full extent of the bank's misdeeds came to light, even the US ambassador estimated the damage at 60 billion shillings lost through financial malpractice at Charterhouse. In this episode, we'll uncover how a relatively small bank, holding less than 1% of Kenya's market share, became central to one of the country's largest financial scandals of money laundering and tax evasion.
For the who's. You got a membership or something.
Even attracting the attention of the FBI. Be sure to like the video if you enjoy it.
You know you messed up when the FBI is looking for you.
And subscribe to the channel for more stories from Kenya.
I'll think. Inda yona kesho. I'll do this one. An Ongoro reports killing in foreign lands. Kenyan woman caught with drugs.
Now the story of 28-year-old Flavians Owino
has received a lot of reactions here at home, but no one has received that news with greater pain than her own family.
Now, Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi says more than 1,000 Kenyans are currently incarcerated in various countries over range of crimes.
Kenyans are being caught smuggling drugs everywhere. Malaysia, Vietnam, and even more disturbing, more women than men are being caught smuggling drugs. Margaret Nduta is one of the latest cases we know. In fact, when the news broke, Kenya reacted the way it always does. Hashtags, outrage, and politicians suddenly pretending to care. And in case you don't know, in July 2023, Nduta was caught in Vietnam with 2 kilos of cocaine. Now, Vietnam is in
What?
like African countries where you bribe your way out of trouble. No, over there, if you're caught trafficking drugs, you're sentenced to death. And let's be honest, you don't just wake up one day and say, let me risk my life and smuggle drugs into a country like Vietnam. So we have to ask, is it about the money? Is it desperation? Or are these women being tricked? Because Nduta's not the first, and trust me, she won't be the last. There's a whole list of Kenyan women stuck in prisons abroad even now. Some we know, most we don't. And the saddest part, some of them are never coming back. Let's start with the obvious question. What is drug smuggling? In simple terms, drug smuggling is a secret and illegal movement of drugs from one place to another. In real life, it means hiding drugs like cocaine inside wigs, bras, or even, believe it or not, diapers. And if you're feeling extra brave or extra broke, you can carry them in your body. Across Africa, more and more women are being caught with drugs at airports. In some places, reports show that more women than men are now being arrested for drug smuggling. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime has confirmed that women are playing a bigger role in trafficking than before, though they haven't given exact numbers. Still, the trend is clear, especially when you look at the numbers of arrests at airports each year. So why are so many women doing this? Simple, the money. Imagine being broke and jobless, then someone offers you something like $5,000. That's about 500,000 Kenyan shillings in cash, just to swallow a few pellets of cocaine and fly across the world. But there's a catch. You better pray you don't die mid-flight, because smuggling drugs in this way is so dangerous. One small mistake and it's over. If a pellet bursts in your stomach or in your body, it could lead to overdose, shock, or death before the plane even lands. And
imagine 25 grams ya nini. Okay, na ujaitumia.
If someone snitches, you're surely going to jail. But if it works, if you're successful, you've just made yourself more money than most Kenyans do in 2 years. Because 500,000 Kenyan shillings is enough money to buy you a piece of land in Kenya, and even an old Toyota Vitz.
Toyota Vitz gani? Nini? No, tunashika note hadi.
Now, Kenya wasn't always part of this drug smuggling story. Things began changing in the 1990s. This when drug traffickers wanted to avoid the strict security checks in Europe and the US. So they changed their routes, and guess what? Africa became the new shortcut. And Kenya was there. With over 1,400 kilometers of coastline, it didn't take long before smugglers added Kenya to their map. See, Kenya is between Africa and Asia. So if you're looking to move drugs across continents, Kenya was the jackpot. Mombasa, Kenya's biggest port, became a favorite spot, not just for cargo ships, but for cartels. Drugs like heroin and cocaine were coming through the ocean, hidden in containers. Now let's talk about the late 90s and the early 2000s. Back then, things were very easy for smugglers. The borders were loose, airport security not that great, the drug scanners, most didn't work or even didn't exist. The staff were underpaid and overwhelmed, and corruption, obviously, it was there. In short, Kenya was a drug trafficker's dream. And just to show you this is not gossip, in 2004, over 1,000 kilograms of cocaine was found in Kenya, worth 6 billion. One of
what?
Africa's biggest drug seizures. Lab tests showed it came straight from
Zinakuja hadi na box ya jua kali, goja.
Biggest drug seizures.
What?
Lab tests showed it came straight from Colombia. Yep, the land of Pablo Escobar. This case made international headlines and exposed how weak Kenya's anti-drug systems were at the time. But to be fair, Kenya didn't just sit and watch. In 2014, President Uhuru Kenyatta personally watched as police blew up a ship carrying heroin worth 1.
So you want us to believe that hii drugs yote ililipuliwa apparently. Unataka sasa unataka kutubelivisha sasa. Go help your wife, man.
3 billion. You know, it was like a message to the drug cartels, the ones in Colombia, that Kenya is not playing anymore. So yes, Kenya has tried. But here's the thing. Drug traffickers are not stupid. They changed tactics. They stopped using obvious criminals. And instead, they picked people who wouldn't raise suspicion. And who are these least suspicious people at the airports? The women, yes, the mothers, the students, jobless graduates, even air hostesses. They look innocent.
Msikia pate joblessness, lack of employment ilikuwa maingia.
No, even they don't cause trouble. That part I'm not sure. They are trusted. That's why drug traffickers love using them. And the sad part, most of these women don't even know what they are carrying. Some are told it's just documents. Others are promised a clean business trip. Now, these are not the drug lords, these women. They are not making millions. They are just mules used to carry the drugs.
The bottom of the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of the industry. I'll be back.
And easily replaced. But when they are caught, they are the ones who suffer. They get the prison time and even worse, the death penalty. Kenyan women are now one of the fastest growing groups of drug traffickers heading to Asia. Not for holiday, but to die. By 2017, over 70 Kenyans were locked up in China for drug-related crimes. Many of them were on death row, waiting to die. Because in countries like China and Malaysia, if you're caught with drugs, my friend, again, it's simple. No court drama, no second chances, just you and the rope.
Unanyogwa, huko hakuna ati injection.
Between 2006 and 2009, Something really troubling started happening in places like Kiamaiko and other slums in Huruma in Kenya.
Ati nini hiyo? Ameguza mtaa? Wewe wacha. Ameguza mtaa alafu anaonyesha picha ya mtaa ingine. What?
Many young women were being recruited into drug trafficking.
But they kuna mambo mingi. What? Uko nini hakuna? Realistically speaking. Don't come for me though.
They were promised quick money and a better life, but instead, they walked straight into a nightmare. Even university students weren't safe.
Let the record show, this picture is not of Kiamaiko. Or it is, wait. Okay, good.
Olivia Muno. Something really troubling started happening in places like Kiamaiko and other slums in Huruma in Kenya. Many young women were being recruited into drug trafficking. They were promised quick money and a better life, but instead, they walked straight into a nightmare. Even university students weren't safe. Some were used as drug mules. One of the earliest and most shocking cases was Olivia Munoko, a 26-year-old Kenyan student sentenced to life imprisonment in China in 2006 for drug trafficking. Olivia was a fourth-year Bachelor of Arts student and was caught with about 1.8 kilograms of heroin. Chinese police arrested her on March 10, 2006 at Guangzhou Beiyang International Airport after she arrived from Malaysia, but she cooperated with the authorities and convinced the judge that she engaged in drug smuggling because she needed the money to settle her family financial problems. It helped, but not enough. She was sentenced to life imprisonment. At around the same time, two other Kenyan students, Deborah Donde and Emily Gadhoni, were arrested in Malaysia. They were found in a house belonging to a marijuana dealer, along with a Saudi and an Eritrean. Police found 4 kilos of drugs was even said to be the daughter of a former Kenyan MP. But guess what? They were released due to lack of evidence, and the drug tests came back negative. Yep, very lucky escape, because in Malaysia, drug trafficking usually means life in prison or the death penalty. So yeah, luck was definitely on their side. But others once...
The Asians are not playing with their drug things. What? Life in prison? Hapa hivi ni nini? 10 years, 15 years hivi, maybe 45 kama ni mingi trafficking gozi hazimpailiwa hazimepailiwa. So at least as long as uko na hope utazeeka, utatoka ukiwa kijana mzee. 100 years. Goja life na death.
So lucky, like Lea Kimani and Christine Nyabera, who are both sentenced to death in China for drug offenses in 2008. Now, the family of Christine was in total shock. They didn't even know how she ended up in China in the first place. Kenya's foreign minister at the time, Moses Wetangula, said he would try to talk to the Chinese government and create a system to exchange prisoners between the two countries. He also wanted them to reduce the death sentence to life. Whether that happened or not, no one really knows. Then came another sad case. In 2012, Judith Achieng Odoyo was arrested in Malaysia with nearly 3.8 kilograms of crystal meth. A year later, she was sentenced to death, with a judge delivering the shocking ruling that only one sentence is provided by the law for this crime, and that is death sentence. I order that Judith Achieng Odoyo be taken to a lawful place where you shall be hanged by the neck till you are dead. Yes, that was the actual ruling. Very cold. Another woman, Flavians Owino, was arrested in China in 2013 for drug trafficking. In 2015, she was sentenced to death by hanging.
I'm assuming these are the unlucky ones. Sasa kuna mtu mwenye maybe wako kadhaa wenye out of 10 mmoja ndo anapotea. Because in the cases moja maybe if you're unlucky. What? The only one ruling is
She had left her 1-year-old daughter in Nairobi, telling her sister that she was going to look for work. Instead, her family later got the shocking news she had been sentenced to death in Beijing. Nobody could believe it. Her case went viral in Kenya, and people began using the hashtag #FreeMissOwino. And her family even spoke on national television. The pressure worked eventually because for the first time, the Chinese and the Kenyan government allowed her parents to visit her in prison. That had never happened before. Now, thanks again to the public attention and diplomatic talks, her execution was delayed for 2 years. She was told if she behaved in prison, her sentence could be changed to life in prison. And Honestly, from what we've heard, that's probably what happened. We are not 100% sure, but let's stay positive. And the woman who reportedly recruited Judith, rumor has it that she was so well connected to powerful people that she was never arrested. Africa. A socialite also got herself in trouble, and that happened in 2015. Penina Lema, better known as Pesh, launched a socialite career the way many did back then, by dropping nudes on Twitter and Facebook. And by 2015 standards, she was considered hot. Yeah. Now, for about 7 months, she lived the high life, posting flashy photos from trips to South Africa, Dubai, and Nigeria. She called them working holidays, whatever that meant. In June, just a month before her downfall, she even showed off a brand new car on social media. This woman was balling. But the balling ended in July 2015 when news broke that Pesh was arrested in Ghana with 40 million worth of cocaine. The last post on her Facebook.
Okay, sasa hii ina working hazard, unaweza shikwa. Like unaweza shikwa. Na kuna watu wana pop off na wana deal na hizi vitu sababu okay.
Book was from JKA, saying she was flying to Ghana for a holiday. Yeah, that didn't age well. Her Facebook went quiet for 8 years until 2023. That's when the account suddenly became active again, with Pesh revealing that she was finally free. She had served 3/4 of a 10-year sentence, and it's not just the socialites who have been caught in the drug web. Back in 2002, former Kenya Airways hostess Priscilla Kolongei was busted trying to smuggle more than 27 kilos of heroin into Kenya from Mumbai. The drugs were worth 27 million Kenyan shillings. She was sentenced to 18 years in prison but got out in 2015 after serving 13 years.
The high society where I was working was so different to the life that I found here. Everything was the opposite of how I used to.
Nini high society gani? Unadhani ukishikwa utaenda jela kukuwa na hoteli?
Live out there. I don't forget, freedom is about being denied everything, talking to people freely. Everything is assigned to even time, your time of eating, time of waking up.
Fast forward to 2023. Another Kenyan woman was arrested, Mary Njeri, at Kotoka International Airport in Accra, Ghana. She was caught with over 11 kilos of suspected cocaine, worth about 41 million. Police say the drugs were hidden in food packets in her luggage. She had flown in from Nairobi via Johannesburg. Last we heard, she was still in custody. No official word on whether she was charged or not. The trial kind of went cold. Now let's talk about Maria Mweke. In June 2019, she was arrested in New Delhi, India for allegedly running an international drug ring. She was caught while delivering 2.5 kilos of heroin to a dealer in Punjab. She wasn't working alone. She was arrested alongside 2 Nigerian men. According to reports, she had been introduced to the trade by another Kenyan. Authorities hunted her for over 7 months and even put a 73,000 bounty on her head. During the questioning, she admitted that the cartel had smuggled around 120 kilos of heroin, even more, into India. Then there is Rose Achieng Ojala, a mother of 3. Now, in August 2018, she was sentenced to death in Malaysia after being found with 400 grams of meth. She had swallowed 68 drug capsules and even hid 3 more in her private parts. During her trial, she claimed that she was forced to do it at gunpoint. They buying it and she was sentenced to death. And drug smuggling is not just happening abroad. In July 2018, a Kenyan woman named Mary Mukami Mwangi was jailed for 20 years for drug trafficking. She was
20, 30, 35 hapo.
Caught at JKIA with 83 pellets of cocaine just as she was boarding a flight to Indonesia, a country that, by the way, does not joke around when it comes to drugs. Now, this trend of drug smuggling has continued into recent years. Now, 2 years ago, just in 2023, Another Kenyan woman was arrested by Hong Kong authorities for smuggling an illegal substance believed to be cocaine. The cocaine hidden inside her body was contained in 67 pellets and was worth about 15 million Kenyan shillings.
Hizi 67 pellets zinaingililia wapi na zinatembelea wapi? Now it's time to ask the real question. 67 pellets, how? In your body, how?
According to Hong Kong police, she was caught easily as she was reportedly acting suspiciously at Hong Kong International Airport. That
hadi utakuwa suspicious bana, uko na vitu sijui ngapi zinaka how?
Was on 9th April 2023 after arriving from Nairobi via Addis Ababa. Customs officials selected her for inspection and took her to a local hospital for examination. While waiting to be examined, the woman allegedly excreted the suspected drugs. She was immediately arrested. In total, she excreted 67 pellets of suspected cocaine, weighing approximately 1 kg. She was then formally charged on April 11th. The maximum penalty, listen, a fine of 85 million Kenyan shillings.
Oh, so that's how they do it. Right.
And life imprisonment. Hey, that's a heavy sentence. Meanwhile, Margaret Nduta Macharia, a 37-year-old Kenyan woman from Murang'a County, is currently on death row in Vietnam after being convicted of drug trafficking. She was arrested in July 2023 at Tan Son Nhat International Airport in Ho Chi Minh City with over 2 kilograms of cocaine concealed in her luggage. She had traveled through Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Kenya, Boli International Airport in Ethiopia, and Hamad International Airport in Qatar without being detected, before finally being caught in Vietnam. During her trial, Nduta claimed that she was unaware of the drugs, stating that an agent had provided her with a new suitcase, replacing her old one as she was prepared to travel abroad for a domestic worker job. However, the court found her guilty of drug trafficking on 6th March 2025 and sentenced her to death by lethal injection. Shockingly, her trial proceeded without legal repercussion, raising serious concerns about due process. The case received a lot of attention in Kenya, with many people speaking about it and the government trying to ask for mercy. Kenyan officials, including those from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, have talked to Vietnamese officials to ask them to stop the execution and look for other ways to solve the issue. As of 21st March 2025, Kenyan officials said that Nduta is still alive and being treated well in prison. An appeal has been sent for her, and talks between the two countries are still going on to support her case. Nduta's family still says she's innocent, but her case is very complicated. Vietnam has some of the strictest drug laws in the world. If someone is caught with certain drugs or selling them, they can be given the death penalty. There's little hope for diplomatic intervention. Drug laws in countries like China and Vietnam are treated as matters of national security, and no government wants to be seen compromising its legal system for the sake of a foreigner. The Kenyan government can make diplomatic appeals, but it cannot force another country to change its laws. If she survives, then she is lucky, and we hope she does. Now, in conclusion, these are not the only cases. Many Kenyan women are currently jailed around the world for drug trafficking. Most are in South Africa, Nigeria, China, and India.
That out of the Kenyans in the diaspora, we have a total of about 1,000 Kenyans in different countries facing incarceration for different offenses. Please, the young Kenyans that are going out, remember that the moment you board a plane and the wheels have lifted, when you land in whatever country you're going into, the laws that apply are not Kenyan laws.
Kenya, like many other countries, has long been battling the demons of drug trafficking. The Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Control Act of 1984 imposes several penalties. Traffickers face life imprisonment and heavy fines. However, unlike countries like China, Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, and Vietnam, Kenya does not impose the death penalty for drug-related offenses. So what have we learned? First, don't get caught. Simple. Because if you do, especially in places like Vietnam, Malaysia, or Saudi Arabia, there's no second chance. No, oops, no, I didn't know. No, please forgive me. You smuggle drugs, you die. End of story. The rules are strict. The judges don't smile, and you're not getting saved just because you're from Kenya. Yes, the government might try to make a few calls, send a letter or two, or hold a press conference to show they care, but they can't change foreign laws. The truth is, once you're caught, you're pretty much on your own. And if your only defense is I was strict or I didn't know what was in the bag, well, good luck with that. And let's be honest, these women aren't the real criminals. They're just the ones getting caught. The real cartels, you know what happens. If someone tells you to travel for free, carry a bag, swallow pellets, or just wear this wig, please run. And if you must do it, at least take a good selfie at the airport. That might be the photo the news uses when reporting your arrest. Anyway, chasing a few quick shillings could leave you chasing your last breath in a prison cell thousands of miles away, maybe in China or Vietnam. So maybe, just maybe, let's stop calling it a chance for better life and call it what it is, a shortcut to hell. Which of these stories shocked you the most? Let me know in the comments. And if you love these kind of stories, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. With that,
What? Kumbe hii ilikuwa deep hivi story. What? 12:50 shafika. An amazing time, 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 an amazing time. Thank you for anyone who tuned in. Thank you for Brandon. Thank you for whoever tuned in. Wacha sasa mimi ni disappear. That is the only time I have for today. I might edit, clip this, send some few stuff to TikTok, Instagram, wherever. Let me go hoop.